Okay guys, now we go on. It is section 2. For IELTS listening section 2, 3 to 4 type of questions are extremely important. The first type is sentence completion. They go on with sentence completion, usme table completion or any other thing like that. The second type of questions that we have in part 2, that is multiple choice questions. The third important type is maps. Fourth important type is matching, where you have to match comments with the questions and all that. So these 4 question types are extremely important for section 2. And there can be any question type here. Now over here we've got multiple choice, so we are going to learn how to deal with multiple choice questions. Okay, multiple choice questions are called choose the correct letter. In IELTS language they call it choose the correct letter, A, B, C. And they will give you 3 options. In reading, multiple choice questions have 4 options. In listening, they have 3 options, right? So let's take a start. Angelia Sculpture Park. Now, Angelia is the name. Sculpture, you know, mujassama, made of stone or any other material. Sculpture Park. Now, just imagine a park where they have different statues of people, sculptures of famous people, Shakespeare and all that, right? So what we understand, this talk is going to be about a park, and in that park there are sculptures, so we can understand the audio. Now, question number 11. The land where the sculpture park is located was previously. Now guys, listen, for previously they generally use there used to be. Means wahan pe hua karta tha, right? Where there is the park now, they say there used to be a post office, there used to be a cafeteria, there used to be a famous hotel or any other word like that. So for previously they will use the past tense. That's what you got to see. Okay, option A, completely covered by forest. Now for forest they might use the word trees or they might use the word farmland. Farmland means all trees and crops and everything, right? So you can underline forest and write there farmland. Second option, site of a private house. Now just underline private house. So there used to be the house of some person. Private house means someone's personal property. Okay, where they have the sculpture park, it used to be a private house. And option C, occupied by a factory. So in the past, wahan pe factory hua karti thi. Now this is what you have to see, very simple. The land where there is the sculpture park is located, what was there previously? Wahan pe pehle kya tha? And there are only 3 options. Number 1, forest. Number 2, private house. Number 3, factory. Simple, factory, private house, forest. Ye 3 words hain, focus karna hai. Now I play the audio. Now listen, in multiple choice, they speak about all 3 options. The first thing. Number 2, second thing, they speak about these options in any order. Like they might start from option C, then they come to option A, then they come to option B. So first thing is, you have to identify the option which is being discussed. Now if they say private ownership, personal house, just come over there and listen carefully. If they say some people believe that there used to be a personal house, but that's wrong. When they say that's wrong, it means that option should be crossed. In multiple choice questions, instead of looking at the right answer, you have to focus the wrong answer. You have to focus that I am going to eliminate 2 points here. A, B, C में से एक right answer है, 2 गलत answer हैं. बजाय इसके कि I look for the right answer, I have to eliminate 2 wrong choices. Once I learn to eliminate 2 wrong choices, I will be good at multiple choice questions. But what do? We are looking for right answer. In the conquest of right answer, झांसा दे के हमें गलत answer बता देते हैं, हम लिख लेते हैं. What do? We match the words. We don't match ideas. Now you listen to the audio. In the audio, they use the word factory. You say, acha, factory. C is the right answer. You don't see what are they saying about factory. Is factory the right answer or not? So that's what you guys have to check. Okay. Now let's take a start. Question number 11. Please listen and answer.
You will hear a guide at an outdoor sculpture park talking to a group of visitors.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Anglia Sculpture Park. Right, well, the idea behind the sculpture park is that it's a place where works of art, such as large sculptures and carvings, can be displayed out of doors in a natural setting. As you'll have noticed when you drove here, most of the land around the park is farmland. The park itself belonged to a family called the De Quinces, who had made a lot of money from manufacturing farm machinery and who also owned substantial stretches of forest land to the north of the park. They built a house in the centre of the park, not far from where we're standing now, but this burnt down in 1980 and the De Quinces then sold the land.
See that? Confusing, huh? They discussed all the options, occupied by factory, private house and all that. Now, the point is land where their sculpture park is located was previously. What was it previously? So, what is your answer? A? Okay. Anyone else? B? Okay. Anyone else? Right. So, the right answer is actually B. I play the audio again. Don't worry. I'm going to play it. Yeah, B is the right answer. And the order in which they speak, that is A, C, B. I mean, first they will discuss option A, then they will discuss option C, and then they will discuss option B. I'm playing it again. Please listen.
You will hear a guide at an outdoor sculpture park talking to a group of visitors.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Anglia Sculpture Park. Right, well, the idea behind the sculpture park is that it's a place where works of art, such as large sculptures and carvings, can be displayed out of doors in a natural setting. As you'll have noticed when you drove here, most of the land around the park is farmland.
Okay, most of the land around the park is farmland.
The park itself belonged to a family called the De Quinces, who had made a lot of money from manufacturing farm machinery.
Okay, who would make a lot of money by manufacturing farm machinery? Now, farm machinery doesn't mean it was occupied by a factory. They did not mention factory. They said who made a lot of money by manufacturing farm machinery. So C option is wrong here. Next.
And who also owned substantial stretches of forest land to the north of the park. They built a house in the centre of the park, not far from where we're standing.
Okay, they built a house, the site of a private house. Actually, you know, the park is not the site of a private house. They only said they built a house, and see, the site was different. Listen again.
Now, but around the park is farmland. The park itself belonged to a family called the De Quinces, who had made a lot of money from manufacturing farm machinery and who also owned substantial stretches of forest land to the north of the park. They built a house in the centre of the park, not far from where we're standing now.
Okay, they built a house in the center of the park, not far from where we are standing now.
But this burnt down in 1980, and the De Quinces then sold the land.
Okay, so they sold the land and the house burnt down. So now the land where the sculpture park is located was previously. Now they built the house that happened afterwards. So originally it was a farmland. So option A, completely covered by forest, will be the right answer. Option B, the site of a private house, that will be the right answer, option B, okay? And for that, I'll play it again for some of you, please.
Welcome to the Anglia Sculpture Park. Right, well, the idea behind the sculpture park is that it's a place where works of art, such as large sculptures and carvings, can be displayed out of doors in a natural setting. As you'll have noticed when you drove here, most of the land around the park is farmland. The park itself belonged to a family called the De Quinces.
Okay, by the way, now, do you know the difference between forest and farmland? Forest is natural. Farmland is man-made. In the forest, what do we have? We have trees. In the farmland, what do we have? We have crops. Okay, so as they are using the word farmland, now farmland does not mean forest. They are two opposite things. When in the forest people cultivate certain crops, that becomes farmland. So option A is wrong there. Option C is occupied by a factory. They just mentioned that they made farm machinery, but factory is not mentioned. Therefore, option B, site of a private house. Now, please focus this thing. Site of a private house.
You'll have noticed when you drove here, most of the land around the park is farmland. The park itself belonged to a family called the De Quinces, who had made a lot of money from manufacturing farm machinery and who also owned substantial stretches of forest land to the north of the park. They built a house in the centre of the park.
They built a house in the center of the park. So actually land where the sculpture park is located was previously site of a private house. Okay, let's go on. Question number 12. What is unusual? Now for unusual, they might use the word unique. They might use the word something special. Okay? What is unusual about Angelia Sculpture Park? So what is unique about it? There are three options. Out of three options, two options are ordinary, which are not unique. Listen, for ordinary options, they will say like other parks, like other parks, like other gardens, like other sculpture parks all over the world. So that is not unique. Okay, if I say this boy is intelligent like other boys, this boy also has good communication skills like his other friends, so that is not unique. When I say, but this boy has got a special talent, that is going to be something unique. Now, what are the options? Artists have made sculptures especially for it. Okay, artists made sculpture especially for it. Like they said, this is the park, and they said to the artist, you have to make sculptures for this park. B, some of sculptures were donated by the artists. Artists donated their sculptures. Now you just have to see what is unique about it, unique about this park. It only shows contemporary sculptures. Contemporary means of the time, related to the time. For example, the present time. Contemporary art means the present art, कि जो आजकल का art चल रहा है. So in option A, made sculptures for the park. Option B, sculptures were donated. And option C, contemporary sculptures. Contemporary, again I tell you, of the present time, related to the present. Okay, now I play the audio, please listen. And again, don't focus unusual. When they use the word unique, when they say like other parks, like many other sculpture parks, that's not the answer. When they use the word unique or special, that will be the answer.
The Anglia Sculpture Park isn't the only one in the country. Several of the London parks sometimes display contemporary sculptures, and there are a couple of other permanent sculpture parks in England. But we're unique in that some of our sculptures were actually created for the sites they occupy here, and we also show sculptures by a wider range of artists than anywhere else in the country.
So, yes, the right answer is option A. First, they spoke about option C. It only shows contemporary sculptures, but that is not unique. They said like many other parks in London. I'll play it again. And by the way, option B was not even discussed. They did not talk about option B, and then after that they came to option A. Artists have made sculptures especially for it. Now please listen. First option C, then option A.
The Anglia Sculpture Park isn't the only one in the country. Several of the London parks sometimes display contemporary sculptures, and there are a couple of other permanent sculpture parks in England. But we're unique in that some of our sculptures were actually created for the sites they occupy here.
We are unique. Some of the sculptures were created for the sites they are. So that is option A. Let's go on. Question number 13. What is the theme of Joe Tremain's burnt sculpture? Now, burnt sculpture is the name of sculpture. So, what is the theme of Joe Tremain's burnt sculpture? Option A, contrast between nature and urban life. Contrast means difference between nature. Nature means natural things, and urban life means city life. B. Effect of man on the environment. Effect of man on the environment. How do people impact the environment or atmosphere and all that. Option C. Violence of nature. For violence, they might use the word how ferocious nature can be. Ferocious or any other word like that. Okay, intensity of nature, ferocity of nature and all that. Now let's listen and then we see. And again, the question is, which is the theme of Joe Tremain's burnt sculpture? Now what is the theme of his sculpture, right? Let's see.
For example, at present we have an exhibition by Joe Tremain of what he calls burnt sculptures. These are wood and stone sculptures that he's carved and marked with fire to illustrate the ferocity and intensity of the forces that have shaped our planet over millions of years. They look really dramatic in this rural setting.
Option C, violence of nature, ferocity and intensity of forces that shape our planet. Now, forces that shape our planet, these are the natural forces, right? And for violence, they use the word ferocity and intensity. Very good. Let's go on. Question number 14. Path by the lower lake. Now, this multiple choice is incomplete sentence. Sometimes multiple choice question has a question mark. Sometimes it is incomplete sentence. So, the sentence is path by the lower lake. Now, first part. Just you will focus the path. Path means the way and lower lake is the lake. Then they say, is rather wet in some places. Path is wet in some places. First point. Option B, recently been repaired. So if they say we repaired it last week or it was repaired a month ago or anything like that, that is recently been repaired. Now what is recently been repaired? Path to lower lake. Okay, the path by the lower lake. And difficult to walk on. If they say it's very difficult, it's very tricky, or it's zigzag, or it's very narrow and you cannot walk it easily, something like that, right? Now, let's see, what do they say about it?
To see some of the sculptures, you'll need to follow the path alongside the lower lake. We had to renovate this after the lake overflowed its banks a couple of months ago and flooded the area. The water level's back to normal now, and you shouldn't have any trouble. The path's very level underfoot.
The path's very leveled, water level is fine, so it's not A, wet, it's not wet, B, difficult, they said no, it's all leveled. So the right answer is B, has recently been repaired. Now what is it that they used in the audio? They said we had to renovate this. Renovate means to repair. Okay, now by the way, the order in which they spoke, that is BAC. इसके साथ लिख लें BAC, capital B, capital A, capital C. And now I'm playing it again. Just focus first B, then A, then C.
To see some of the sculptures, you'll need to follow the path alongside the lower lake. We had to renovate this after the lake overflowed its banks a couple.
So we had to renovate this after the lake overflowed and all that. That is the right answer. Now they will speak about A.
Couple of months ago and flooded the area. The water level's back to normal now, and you shouldn't have any trouble.
The water level is back to normal now and you shouldn't have any trouble. Means it's not going to be wet. Water level is normal now. When it is normal, you shouldn't have any trouble. It's not wet. Now they will discuss option C.
Path's very level underfoot.
Path's very level underfoot means it is not going to be difficult for you to walk. Let's go on. Question number 15. What does the speaker say about the visitor center? They have a visitor center, and just underline the word visitor center and see what does the speaker say about it. Being enlarged at present. Enlarged means usko bada kar rahe hain. They are adding more area, right? Being enlarged. So just underline being enlarged. Option B, received international award. Now, if the visitor center received international award, this is the right answer. If they say our visitor center has been nominated for international award. Now, nominated means they have not received the award, they have just been nominated. And option C, it was designed by Canadian architect. So just underline designed by Canadian architect. Now just listen, visitor center is the main thing. What does the speaker say? And two options will be wrong, one will be right.
You should be back at the visitor centre at about 4 o'clock. If you have time, it's worth taking a look at the centre itself. It's not possible to go upstairs at present, as builders are working there adding another floor, but the rest's well worth seeing. The architect was Guy King. He was actually born in this part of England, but he recently designed a museum in Canada that won a prize for innovation in public buildings.
So, all right. See, okay, it was designed by a Canadian architect. Now, they said that he was born in England. He was not Canadian. I'll play it again, right? And then they talked about B, and that award was linked to that person. He did something and that was going to win the award. So option B and C both are wrong. The right answer is A, being enlarged at present. They said they are working and they are adding another floor. When they add another floor to the building, it means they are enlarging it. For example, iske upar chhat hai. And then they say they are making another story. By making another story, जब घर पे आप एक और story बनाते हैं, you are enlarging the house. Okay? Now, please see. The audio will go on like B, C, A. I think it's going to be like A, C, B. Let's play it again. A, C, B.
You should be back at the visitor centre at about 4 o'clock. If you have time, it's worth taking a look at the centre itself. It's not possible to go upstairs at present, as builders are working there adding another floor.
Okay, it's not possible to go upstairs as builders are working there adding another floor. So that is being enlarged at present. At present, for that they use the word builders are working there. That is present tense, okay? Yeah. Now after this they will discuss option B.
But the rest's well worth seeing. The architect was Guy King. He was actually born in this part of England.
The architect is Guy King and he was actually born in this part of England. So Canadian architect? No, that's wrong. Option C is the wrong one. Now they will come to option B.
But he recently designed a museum in Canada that won a prize for...
Now, he recently designed a museum in Canada and that museum won an award, not the visitor center. ठीक हो गया, ये टेस्ट बहुत घुमाने वाला है, but in actual exam, किस्मत माड़ी हो ना नसीब खराब हो, they should be something like that as well. ठीक है? Yeah. मैं ये नहीं करता कि आपके लिए आसान सा टेस्ट ले आऊँ, मुझे भी मज़ा आए, आपको भी मज़ा आए, फिर एक्चुअल एग्जाम में जाकर कहें मम्मी now what should I do? Okay, so this is the difficulty level. आप इसको जब क्रॉस करेंगे इस तरह के difficulty levels को आसान टेस्ट आएगा, you'll be very happy with that. Okay, all right, we've got question number 16 now. Today, visitors can buy snacks or snakes. Yeah, visitors सांप खरीद सकते हैं. Okay, visitors can buy snacks and sandwiches dash. अब आगे क्या है? There are three options. Basically, it's going to be a place where visitors can buy snacks and sandwiches. A is kiosk. Now, do you understand kiosk? Simple words, it's what we call khoka. You know, chota sa khoka, small shop, a very small shop with, like when you travel on GT road, you see some very small shops around, khokas and all that. That is what we call kiosk. Okay, a very small shop. Sometimes in a college or university, there is a small shop, they have juices, sandwiches and all that. We call them kiosk, right? So at the kiosk, option B, terrace room. Now they have terrace room, okay. So they do have a terrace room. So if you can buy snacks and sandwiches there, that will be the answer. For example, if they say, we have a kiosk from where you can buy sandwiches and snacks, but unfortunately it is closed. So don't worry, we have another option. You can always buy them from terrace room. terrace room will be the answer. मतलब सुनना है, समझना है, then you have to see, I mean, घुमाएंगे आपको अच्छा खासा, and then you have to see which option is the right one. So terrace room is option B and option C is Lower Lake Cafe. Now just the point is a place where you can buy snacks and sandwiches. Two places you are going to eliminate where you cannot buy snacks and sandwiches. जहाँ से नहीं मिलते उसको काट देना है. जिनको काट देंगे दो options को automatically you will be left with the right answer. So let's start. Question number 16.
If you want to get something to eat when you get back, like a snack or a sandwich, the terrace room is currently closed. But you can go to the kiosk and buy something, then sit on one of the chairs overlooking the lower lake and enjoy the view as you're eating.
A. Now see that, have you noticed one thing? Terrace room is closed. And then for lower lake, they did not choose the word cafe. They can say sit by the lower lake and enjoy the view. So this is IELTS listening. Ghuma phira ke, then they will take you to the right place. Okay, thank you.